Hello, welcome, W.J. Burns, PHX. This is a Zenith Model 7S529, made in 1941. It has 3 bands, 7 tubes, push-button presets, and what Zenith calls a radio organ tone control. Whatever that means. I'm assuming that back in the day they made organs and they had these particular type of switch buttons on them to change the tonal qualities of those particular organs to make different particular sounds. And this is an image of that particular thing. The high tones are buttons up and the low tones are buttons down. And to activate the high tones, you would push them in or push them in order to activate them. Now these low tones are based off whatever high tones are activated. So I'll demonstrate that to you. It took me the longest time to figure out what the heck was going on with these tone controls, because I couldn't seem to get these to function. But once I have the entire component back in the cabinet and the dial face on and everything, because this is grounded, and I guess it grounds the bezel plate and therefore grounds the base assembly tone buttons, and they begin to operate. So it took me the longest time to figure that out. But we'll start on the broadcast band, AM. This band only goes from 550 to approximately 1600, and then we'll flip it over to what some refer to as the police band or shortwave 1, and that will encompass approximately 1600 through to about 5.5, maybe 5 megahertz. And then we'll kick it up to the shortwave 2, and that will take into account 6 megahertz through 18 point whatever. And then we'll demonstrate the push buttons. The cabinet has been refinished, sanded. I tried to save this faux finish right here, and down here. So it does have its memoirs intact from an age gone by. Everything else has been sanded and restained. This is clear poly, about 8 coats thereabouts, 7 or 8. This here is done in semi-gloss black. The new speaker grill cloth, and it has a new polarized power cord with a fuse and a voltage dropping resistor, which drops our line voltage here down to 117. There's 3 tubes that were replaced in this. All the caps are replaced. The electrolytics are replaced. Quite a bit of old rubberized wiring that they had in here that broke apart and everything. That's all been replaced. The dial and glass and bezels and buttons and knobs are all originals. The tone buttons have been cleaned and sanded and refinished. The internal loop antenna has been refurbished. It has the inductive loops around the entire assembly restrung with new magnet wire, and it was cleaned up. The chassis has been refinished. It has new lamps in it, and the inside of the cabinet has been refinished in I guess Zenith used a dark blue. I'm not really sure exactly what type of blue it was, but what's been finished in it is midnight blue. So we'll turn it up here on the AM band and let you give a listen to it. That is this is a harmonic of our local station. I'm not sure how close we are, but we must be pretty close because it comes in quite a few spots. We don't have but maybe a few that we get here. And incidentally, it is on a long wire antenna and an earth ground for purposes of demonstrating the shortwave bands. You typically won't need it for the standard broadcast and the push buttons.
For dealers. Now through the end of May, hurry in for your chance to save on America's best-selling brand. Get behind the wheel of a new 2018 Ford car, truck, or SUV, loaded with Ford's industry-leading driver.
Now to demonstrate the tone buttons, if you notice, there's not much. There's no change, noticeable change anyway, here in the low frequencies.
Turn backyard beers into 50-yard line shears.
That there is the voice button, normal and treble.
Like exclusive access to your favorite. Necessary select states. Great beer, great responsibility. 2017 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
You've heard of the sweet spot, the place that feels just right.
Voice will really give it some punch.
It's called premium economy. The sweet stuff includes wider leather seats, more legroom, gourmet meals with free alcohol, free in-flight entertainment, and more.
Now,
And
once
get
this is
all
done,
at a price that, well,
once these are
hits the
down,
proverbial spot. This is the seat you've been waiting for. Premium economy on American Airlines.
During the birthday parties,
the low bass doesn't appear to do anything, but I'm sure that it is that probably is attenuating the frequencies that are so low you can't hear it.
for Arizona. APS works to keep you plugged in, powered up, and connected. We work to restore power quickly when storms hit, even fixing problems before they happen. We're bringing Arizona more.
All right, we'll keep going.
Battery storage. 11 or 800-782-5511. Draxler Insurance. That's what security's all about.
The rich colors of copper and turquoise mixed with the vibrant red rocks of Sedona. These are the colors of Arizona. This is Dylan from Sedona Diggs Furniture, where you'll
I believe that was I believe that was Flagstaff.
Make it all so easy, they'll even send you free samples to make sure everything looks as
This
good
here
in
is Prescott Valley, about 40 miles away, the other side of the mountain, in the valley south of us.
A reminder that patrols will be taking place starting Friday right through. More news coming up. Sunny skies and breezy conditions through the day today.
That's another harmonic of our local station. I'm not sure where that one's at.
23734.
Tonight's lows, 36 Flagstaff, dropping to 41 in Sedona, 47 for the Quad City area, and 54
the actual
Let's get you back to America's best
position on the dial of our
and 96.3 FM KYBC.
Okay, that's the end of that one. Let's go ahead and kick it up to shortwave 1. We'll go back down the other way. There's not much action on this at this time. It is about 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning. In the evening it picks up. It's quite squabbly. I'll try to append a video of that onto here. That is our local station also, the one that you heard over here at 1600. We're at 1.6 megahertz. Okay, that's the extent of that band. We'll go on up to the shortwave 2 band and see what we get. We do have clear skies, and it's about 85 right now. I'm not sure what the heck this station does, but every time I come across it, that gal is always giving numbers. I'm assuming they're numbers. I don't know if it's some kind of code or what. Now in the early evenings around 12 megahertz here, you can pick up Cuba. It drifts in, drifts out. Some of these are pretty weak. If you get anything in the 16, 19, and 25 meter bands, it'll probably be real early in the morning. Because at night it appears to fall off. And the low portion between 2 megahertz and 7 or 8 megahertz picks up. Okay, that's the extent of it. So we'll kick it on down to the push buttons. This is the station you heard at about 9:30 on the dial. That's Flagstaff. I'm not sure where that one is. It's typically the station that's around 740 or somewhere around the dial there. Now that one I think is the one out of Sedona, which is about 780.
3700. Google Creative Printing Sedona.
Hey everybody, Mike Tay back here to talk to you about Tri-City Computers.
That one I
We have a
think
computer
is.
problem here at Chasm. There's
Archie, I'm calling to say thanks again for choosing San
This
Diego.
one here is, I believe, the one that was at 11:30, somewhere around in there. That's the one in Prescott Valley.
Yep, for the best selection of beards, Fords,
And to adjust those, I'll give a link in the video here on how to adjust these Zenith push button types like this. But to access the controls, you just get your fingernail underneath a little gap right in here and give it a little pry up. And back in there, you'll use a dowel rod that's got a little notch in it from the hacksaw, and dress it with a little super glue to kind of firm it up and harden it. Otherwise, sometimes these are so tight that you could split the wood. And then use a nut driver on the antenna trimmers to bring in the antennas. There'll be a link in the description for a video that has that in there. And then just put that back into position there and give it a little push. These here, in case you ever have to pull the chassis out, originally these are hardwired, and you had to take it apart and unsolder the contacts from the wiring to the chassis in order to get the chassis out. And it's a pain in the you-know-what. So what I've done in this case is put quick disconnects on these. You just push this little button in. This is the catch for it. There's a tang back here on the back that hooks this part of the bezel, and then you just stuff it back in there, hook it to that side, and then give it a little slight push, and put it back in. Same way on this side. This one has a lot more wires to it, like 6 or 7, I think. And they're color-coded, so you can pull it loose. Pull it out. The contacts have been cleaned on it. This wafer board right here was, you can see it's got a little modification to it. It was broken too when I got it, and managed to salvage it and put and sandwich some small mylar plastic on there in order to stiffen it back up and put it back together. So, and then you do the same thing on this side, just hook it. get it back in there, and then hook it to that side, and then just give it a little push. Okay, there you go. I'll append some night or evening video on the band scans, a portion of it, so you can hear the difference in the night and the day, at least from Cottonwood's point of view. So that's all there is. Zenith, 1941 Zenith Model 7S529, available soon. Thanks for watching. Okay, I got the link separated, and I got a long wire hooked to the antenna, external antenna lug, and an earth ground on the ground lug. And we'll start. We'll go to the Shortwave 1 band. Okay. Now we'll work our way back down the dial.
And those knobs that can tune up with different keys. So you can choose a much lower key.
Sounds like amateur.
Keep that childlike enthusiasm for what you do.
This part of the dial picks up a little bit in the evenings, and it's probably about 6 o'clock right now.
You're going to labor for that.
Mostly clear skies.
That if they were written about in the Bible later.
And in the morning, it'll quieten down, and the upper portion of the shortwave tube band will pick up quite a bit.
Yeah, but I will share it because it could be good news.
I have some other news coming up, but this is...
190 aniversario de su fundación es de una trascendencia enorme. Creo que es una...
They come into Taiwan, as well as fish products from overseas. So they'll probably have a very good lunch.
The USA, the calls, court orders of the search warrant. Esta conferencia se dedica a los...
It's a pretty darn good performer on this band. This radio. I usually don't get all of these on a lot of my other radios.
This one does need a little. I'm going to give it a lot.
And of course, my long wire is about 40 feet long, and it just loops around this canopy here and zigzags, and the other end of the wire goes into the shed to the bench, where I use the other end for radios on the bench.
You can actually look through and find out where you are.
Quite a few stations that I'm picking up. I usually don't get that many on this. I only get like maybe 4 or 5 on some of the other radios.
But this lake is not.
Didn't know there was that many on this, man.
Lower than national averages, meaning you get the care that
Now we're coming into 1600.
For you or your loved ones. At Haven Health of Camp Verde, our business is your care.
There are many great reasons.
That is our local station.
Including the launch of a summer patio.
And that's the extent of that. So we'll kick it on over to the Shortwave 2. And we'll go back the other way. You get quite a bit of drift on some of these.
Participó con la orquesta de Arcaño su maravilla.
Must be a harmonic of that. And right around 12 megahertz. I picked up Cuba. That might be it. Shouldn't be too much else up above the 12 or 13 megahertz at this time of day. It might be 1 or 2. Most of the time, most of it quietens down in the late afternoon. That's the extent of that. Okay, so let's kick it on back down to
May the force be with you.
baseball
On Saturday,
game.
June 2nd, get the Paul Goldschmidt
Listen to my
Hot
D-backs
Solo
lose
Courtesy
again.
of Cox Communications. Visit dbacks.com. Presented by Gila River Hotels and Casinos.
Okay, there you have it. A refurbished Zenith Model 7S529. I'm not sure of the year. I'll put it in. I'll put it on the caption. Probably 40, 41, or 42, somewhere around in there, I'm sure.
Go through the heart of the Milwaukee order a third time. And this is upstairs to the first pitch to G-Man Choi. Choi 0 for 2. It's Choi, Kane, and Shaw.
Available soon.
Gets on Santana, who
Thank you
narrowly
for
missed a
watching.
3-run home run. His line